town. First off, this is a sad story. Everyone knows it at a time. Um, I'm reporting something that came out of my home state over this past weekend, and um, it's kind of sad. It does have to do a little bit with Uber and Lyft, but at the same time, it does not. And if you listen, you will understand exactly why. Um, this girl's name is Nalani Johnson. This happened in Pittsburgh. She was a toddler. Um, a woman accused of driving off with a toddler as the father got out of the car. Um, she was actually romantically involved with the man. There was an argument before she drove off with the toddler. Her name is Sharina, Nancy Sharina. She's 25. The father of Nalani Johnson met on social media. They were in the beginnings of a relationship. Apparently, there was an Amber Alert over the weekend. I think it was Saturday because I actually got it on my phone. Um, this was not an actual Uber and Lyft um, ride. However, she did work for Uber and Lyft. Um, she is saying that she did not steal the kid. However, the father said that when he got out of the car, him and his friend got out of the car, he went to get the car seat out with the kid in it, and she drove off with the little girl in the car. Um, Authorities say an argument between them began between the friend and Nancy, prompted two men to get out of the car. As the father was moving to get the child out of the car seat, Nancy drove off. She was charged with kidnapping, custodial interference, and concealment of the whereabouts of a child. Those are all felonies. She alleged that she turned the child over to a woman in a silver SUV during a roadside rendezvous. She said the child's father sold the toddler and was delivering her on the father's instructions. Um, they have a situation now that the police where there's two different versions of the events that happened. Um, FBI special agent in charge said that the child abduction response team comprised of FBI and county detective was immediately mobilized. The child's grandmother thanked law enforcement volunteers for their efforts in trying to find the girl who turns 2 months this month. No attorney was listed. Well, let's see. So, unfortunately, I hate to say this, um, this whole situation couldn't have been avoided. Well, couldn't really have been avoided because they knew each other. But this right here is one horrific reason why you do not take unaccompanied minors. If a kid looks under the age of 18, do not let them in your car because this is something that could happen. Unfortunately, this girl was 2 months old and she was found dead on, I want to say Monday. They found her in a wooded area. An autopsy will determine the cause. The lady that abducted the woman is being held in jail for a kidnapping charge, and they're not sure what extent she is involved in this kidnapping of this child. So hopefully, in time, they will find out exactly who is involved. However, they're not sure right now. But I wanted to bring this to everyone's attention because of I've had a couple instances where I've picked people up. I've shown up at a school and somebody wants me to pick their kid up from band practice or football and take them home. And unfortunately, I've told the people, look, I can't do that. Like, they're Uber's terms of service. You can't take an accompanying minor with you, whether you have a dash cam or not. Um, I know a friend that did that, and he got in trouble because somebody said that the kid or something, and you don't need those things. Just it's not worth the $5 or $10, $15. you're going to get to accidentally get a charge. So, again, this is a story that unfortunately had a turn for the worst. Um, and I wish this family the best. I know this is something hard to deal with, so just like I said, I'll just repeat the whole story again for anybody just coming in. If anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to ask me, and I will let you know. This was happened in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Um, on Saturday, there was an Amber Alert out for her. Um, her body was found on Monday in a park. This girl was 2 months old. Even though she looks older now. No, she's not 2 months old. Why is they saying that she's 2 months old? 2 years old. It says this is not the outcome that any of us would have wished for. Obviously, um, I don't know why they would put that in there too. That's stupid. People need to see. I'm gonna literally read the story verbatim. Okay. It says a woman accused of driving off with a toddler as the father got out of the car has been romantically involved with the man, and there was an argument before she drove off, authorities said on Tuesday. Sharina Islam Nancy, 25, and the father of Nalani Johnson met on social media and were in the beginnings of an intermediate romantic relationship. Superintendent Coleman McDonnell of the Allegheny County Police Department said at a news conference. Nancy, who works as a ride-hailing driver, had spent several hours with the father, a friend of his, and the child before the Allegheny kidnapping in Penn Hills, he said. This was not arbitrary Uber/Lyft. They were known to each other. Police said Monday the child's father told investigators that he and a friend were riding in a car driven by Nancy on Saturday evening when he got out of the car and was moving to get the child out of the car seat. Nancy drove off. Now, an argument between the friend and Nancy prompted the two men to get out of the car. As the father was moving to get the child out of her car, Nancy drove off. She was charged with kidnapping, custodial interference, and concealment of the whereabouts of a child. Those are all felonies. She alleged she turned the child over to a woman in a silver SUV during the roadside interference. Nancy said the child's father sold the kid and she was delivering her on the father's instructions. Okay. So they have two different stories. She is saying that he sold her to somebody else. I don't believe that, but this is just a really sad story. I will put a link to this article in the description below. I will also put a link to a couple different articles about this, and I will try and keep everybody updated on what's happening with this story. Again, to any of my subscribers that are riders, please remember that you cannot have us pick up your kids. Okay? Unless there is somebody in the car that is over the age of 18 and can show ID. To all of my drivers out there, please remember you cannot pick up any minor that is not accompanied by an adult. Alright, guys. Again, this is such a sad story to hear. But I hope everybody has a great weekend. Rideshare PA out.